Okay. All right, good afternoon. This is the regular scheduled meeting of the Keep Laredo Beautiful Board of Directors. It is approximately 5:52. I'm calling this meeting to order. Madam Manager, Program Manager, may I have a roll call, please?
Jean Belmontes.
Present.
Myra Hernandez. Renata present. Monica Cavazos. Present. Graciela Villarreal.
Present.
Diane Gomez. Andy Linares. Laura Carolina Perez.
Present.
Virginia Lopez.
Excused.
Jaime Heredia. Valentín Escamilla.
I'm excused.
Diomara Gonzalez.
Excused.
Francisco Castillo.
Unexcused.
Valerie Gonzalez.
Unexcused.
Cynthia Guerra.
Unexcused.
We have a quorum. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve for approval of minutes of the previous meeting of October 11th.
I just have one edit. I was here last meeting.
Where is it?
The unexcused.
I was unexcused.
I think I was unexcused. I was unexcused in September.
The
I
previous
came on day. Yeah. I was here. I was here. I was here in
So,
October.
I'll entertain a motion for approval of minutes as amended.
Wait. Graciela, you weren't here, right?
The last meeting?
That's probably the.
That's probably the switcheroo.
Wait.
Any other changes?
No, sorry guys. This is the wrong one. Yeah, that's why. That's September.
Ah,
Okay, just push it, take it until later, and keep,
keep rolling.
yeah, keep going.
All right, so motion to table the item. Second, motion and second, all those in favor say aye. Motion signed, we'll table that item until we have the information. Citizen communications, do we have any citizens who want to communicate today? Nope. All right, discussion with possible action on the following items, a treasurer's report. Ms.
Yes.
Lorena?
So in your file, in your packets, or in your papers, there should be. So this is what we envision that we would start to produce for you all. As mentioned before, it's really difficult. I mean, we get a budget every year, but it's very difficult because they, you know, as you can see from here, not all of our events do our funds come from KLB. And so basically what we decided is we would just do a breakdown of each event, kind of like this, and then things that are missing would be to add in the total cost per person.
Okay.
So like how much, like I didn't total anything to like how much it totally cost. I need the final number of like how many volunteers were there that day.
Okay.
And then separate that apart from staff, like actual parks people.
Okay.
So that way we can determine like an actual cost per person, like how much it cost us. And more what this will be, just more for like tracking and trending. So that way next year when it comes around, we'll be like, oh, well, we spent this much on like these supplies, like pretty general. If somebody were to want to go and, you know, with the microscope and look at it, each one of these as we produce them will be attached to the set of invoices or receipts. And that'll show you how many paintbrushes did we buy, how many hose or different types of gardening tools. We don't always buy the same things every time. It's dependent on our needs. And also like on the back, on the flip side, on most of our events, we'll get things donated to us. And this was a perfect example because we got not just a monetary donation, and in this case, it wasn't directly donated to KOB, it was actually donated to TAMIU. And so it just shows, and it'll kind of tell you there, like, where did the money come from? Who was it submitted to? Like, how much did things cost? And then it shows like the, any remaining balances. And then, of course, we mentioned Southwest Beverages because they did provide an in-kind donation, which will also start including those. So if anybody, Taco Palenque donates food, we're going to start including that. And that way too, we can start, I guess, building like a list of not necessarily vendors, but vendors we know that we can trust.
Vendors and donors.
And that we can go back to, yeah.
I like that idea. Ms. Ruby, when we start cleaning up the website again, because that project's kind of in limbo, I'd like to have a full page for our donors so that no matter whether they give us one tree or they give us, in this case, Southwest Beverages, I'd love to have their logo and a link from our website to them. Okay.
Their logo, but it does a link to their website?
I don't know, we can, I'd love to be able to do that, but as people come on and they give us things, whether they have a logo or it's an individual, we can put their names on our donor list. So again, it's a great opportunity for us to kind of promote the fact that there are people out in the community that are willing to give us money. Maybe somebody sees a name and says, okay, I want to donate too. I mean, my friend donated, let me donate as well. And use that encouragement of donations.
You could put a donate to button on the website.
But we can, we're still kind of figuring out the PayPal, Venmo, city account deal, Cash App. So they have to write us a check.
Yeah, right now, we only send checks.
And then once we start doing that, that'll also become part of like our monthly report. Like, this is our event report, and then how much money are we making, basically.
And, well, I would like to state that the reason that this is important, so everybody on the board can understand, is that it's cost accounting what we're doing here, but we can't report what impact our budget has on the community without compiling all the rest of this information.
Yeah, it's mostly data. All we're doing right now is just data collection, but it is good for trending and forecasting. Because like I said, every event's going to be different. Like, we may not have had to have bought, there were specific items,
like
we may not need
the
21 paintbrushes, we might have just needed 8, or the paint cans. So you really can't gauge that every event, every year is going to cost the same thing, but at least we know. And then that way, if we need to, we want to ask for money, we'll be like, we want more.
Very cool. I like
This is
it.
missing both, this is beautiful, they donated supplies. And
Yeah, but that one is already, because we get supplies from King Texas Beautiful, so that one we really don't count it, because it's every year for our fall sweep. We get that
but
automatically.
it was not for the fall sweep. It was for the,
This event is considered a fall sweep as well, part of the Coca-Cola event as well. You get me? It's all combined together. So automatically we get every year twice a year we get desks, gloves, pickers, trash bags, if they have cups, all of that is like an automatic that we get from them every year, twice a year when it's our fall sweep and when we have the one in the spring waterways cleanup.
We can include it as like a little asterisk item, like that's part of.
Included as an in-kind, because it is in-kind in the sense that we are part of their program, and it will become really essential whenever we become part of Keep America Beautiful, because they also will be sending in-kind, and we will have the opportunity that will open up will be that we will be able to get national grants from Keep America Beautiful as well.
Like for this next one that we'll have is our Arbor Day event. We're using the KTV HEB grant, right?
Yeah.
And so like that'll go on there as like what helped us pay for it.
Did you ever find my paint on the lady too?
We found one, you can't believe it.
Really? I have a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
I grabbed them.
Jean donated several paint items and, paint can openers was part of it.
Some aprons and
and only one came back.
But I have like a box of them, right? Just
Yeah,
because.
well, I'm gonna buy some for Saturday, because we need.
Because it was hard opening them with keys. Is
So-
that okay? I mean,
Yeah,
is that
this is, I like this.
acceptable?
Yeah, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want.
And I tried getting the staff, but nobody got back to me. So,
So as part of this, I mean, again, we're already starting to track the monies and going in now. And now we need, again, as part of the report, the number of hours, all the post-event data that we're supposed to be submitting, I'd like to see that as well.
okay, I can print out copies of that if you want.
Next meeting, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. I have, oh yeah, on my
Oh, the-
report, I do have trash and on a number
Okay,
of
good.
volunteers. Yeah, and if y'all ever wanna see that, I do have a report, they do submit two reports, one to John and one to KTV of everything. Volunteer
Perfect.
hours, trash, the trees, everything's on there.
Perfect. Okay, so no actions required on this item. So, this time,
Wanna go back to the minutes? I don't know what you guys think on that.
We tabled it.
yeah, we tabled it, we'll bring it back in a second. So let's go ahead and do the bylaws, the discussion possible action, on the bylaws that we have submitted. Ms. Ruby, you want to give us an update on where we are with that?
Yes, so pretty much everything that's in yellow is what, got updated. And the first thing that you're gonna see is vision. And the reason I included vision is because sometimes when I'm applying for grants, it asks for vision and we don't, it wasn't on there. So I would write up something and I couldn't find the one I usually use. So I wrote up that vision. I know I had mentioned to several of you all in the next part on membership about dues, that is on there. And then we'll go towards the back. We'll let you guys look over that and then
Ms. Ruby, what is an honorary member? Do we have a
thankfully
definition?
you asked. So if you go to Article 4, Section 1, we added honorary board members. So honorary board members shall help in the guidance of the organization. Our honorary board members should consist of past directors, liaisons, ex officios of the board, and partners past or present. So if somebody from Coca-Cola, Tammy Lou, Dr. Ikes want to be part of the board, but don't want to be fully committed, they're able to be an honorary board member and they'll be able to assist us as well.
But
And
they'll
pretty
have
much
no-
guidance like
But they don't
that.
have any voting.
Correct.
rights.
No voting rights. There, it's just, more for guidance.
Yeah, like if we know like a master gardener or somebody who's really good with
Exactly, like-
whatever, and we need their input for a specific thing or for specific things, we can
Yes.
invite people to become honorary board members.
Yeah.
No less than 2, no more than 5.
And that's a good,
It's a good limit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then we're back to each board member has a limit of 3 unexcused absences and 3 excused absences with a limit of 4 absences allowed per board member per calendar year. So any combination thereof, if you hit 4, that's how.
well, that's where I kind of wanted to, I feel like there's gonna be times where there's gonna be excused.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find a balance between, and I know when there's no director, it may be a little difficult. Because there's a lot of miscommunication, there's a lot of, So
Right.
this, as I had mentioned, this past year, I know I did say that some were gonna be forgiven, but then I did have some members that literally just never showed up. And that's a different story, then I'm not gonna, this year, go to the ones that I know, for example, like, let's take Graciela, she's active on the weekends and she tries to be present, but I don't wanna put too much pressure either, because I know I can count on her, for example, like on Saturday. So I think at the end, it's gonna come back to the board member agreement and what are you on there as well? Are you contributing? Are you sharing? Are you, doing all the other stuff? And I think it would be good to have like, okay, well, like a checklist. Okay, maybe you have 4 absences, but maybe you're doing everything you possibly can. But then what if you have 4 absences and you haven't even shown up to one event, you haven't even shared, haven't tried to get us sponsors, and I think that's a different story. You're just inactive. And I think the 4 that was what we had mentioned last time because of what's on the code of ordinance.
So, just a question, so all of these recommendations are by you, or has the board met to come up?
No,
with-
we had spoken about this, yes.
It's a combination of things that she's recommending, plus the attorney is recommending a couple of things.
Correct, yes, and we had mentioned, but because of the code of ordinances as well, that's on there as well.
I do want to make one comment though about the dismissal or removal of board members. I really think that this is something that the board should take on as a responsibility with the recommendation from the program manager. One, because it removes that unilateral approach to it, where I don't want a board member to think, well, she removed me because she didn't like me, or she removed me because, she gave her a break and not me a break. Let the consensus of the board be that decision, but you're the record keeper, along with the secretary, you bring those to the board makes the final decision whether it's true or not. And we may also get a recommendation from the city manager, says, hey, I need that person off the board for some reason.
Yeah.
But that's his right.
Yeah, because that's on there, the city manager
Because it's the manager.
Right, because he has the approval and removal.
Because there's some things here that says city manager that doesn't say city manager, but they're not highlighted, or unless I'm incorrect.
No, yes, there is city manager on here on the approval, because it goes, it goes to him once it is, and that's something that wasn't
He
mentioned.
appoints?
No,
No.
see, that's the correction I made as well, because it's not appointed by the city manager, it's not appointed by council.
No.
The application is submitted to
The council
KLB
approves.
staff. Yeah, it's submitted to KLB staff, it is reviewed by me and John. Once we've gone through that review, that there's no conflicts, then we send it to city manager. He approves, once he approves, he sends it to council.
And what is council?
Approves, but,
But they're approving
confirms.
what?
The members that are being submitted that
Yeah.
have passed application screening.
and then it says here, because it's always said, and I think it says it like that as well, on other, that the city manager still has the authority to,
Yes, sir, that's what
Yeah.
I'm asking. So why, because they need to go through all that process, if at the end, the city manager still has the legal authority to,
Because ultimately,
but
that's,
without appointing, if that makes sense.
because ultimately, he still has that authority. For example, he appoints the city attorney and the council confirms it. At the end of the day, the city manager can fire the city attorney unilaterally. He doesn't have to wait for council
yeah.
approval. Same city secretary, fire chief, police chief, all of those he can fire, even though they go through a confirmation process with the council. At the end of the day, if the city manager is unhappy with their work, he's the one responsible for firing. And the council can only fire one person, city manager.
Yeah, and our board is a little tricky because of the fact that it's being a nonprofit, but still, it's the
That's
city.
the other,
Yeah, it's
Kind
a,
of a quasi-city entity.
Yeah.
We're not really one, but
like it's a,
I don't know what I'm comfortable with.
with which part?
I personally would like more time to review this.
I think this is.
Yeah, this is just us reviewing it right now, see what we can add, remove, what needs tweaking, like that I can take it to the attorney, and then the attorney gives the final approval, yes.
Bylaws are supposed to have 2 readings before being passed.
Yeah.
Or voted on.
Plus, this is, I think, today the action I want to take is to add any recommendations from the board. Anything you want to change?
I thought it was to approve, to send it.
No,
No,
right now we're just making.
It's the first I see it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my sentiment. This is not the first necessarily time I see it, but some of the changes that I have not seen before.
Yeah, because pretty much, as I said, the only thing that's changed is pretty much everything that's in yellow. And the part of the appointment in yellow is just the process that it comes through to us first before it goes over there. That's the way the process has always been. It just never was on our bylaws, which I think should be on there as well. And a lot of this stuff is just stuff that wasn't on there, and it's confusing because they're like, well, where is it? But, oh, that's the process. Okay, well, now the process is on paper.
Yeah, if there's
Yeah.
any confusions that anyone may have.
Yes, and it's here.
The other thing is, I'm looking like also at these midterm limits, et cetera, technically it's coming up, so by the time that this is approved, to go through the process, I guess what would be TLD and environmental director's timeline, we can also be respectful of that. So the timeline to hopefully get this approved through the process.
Well, I was hoping you all could let me know of any changes, like that I can make those changes, submit it, and then by December we come back around and we would approve them. Like that we can start fresh January. Because there is a lot of stuff that was already on our previous, that's currently already on our bylaws that hasn't been done. For example, the voting of officers. Currently, it says that it should have been in September and that hasn't happened. There's a lot of stuff that is not happening, so I'm hoping that we can get it like that we can start fresh the new year.
Is there any way I can get an electronic copy of this that I can provide some feedback or comments? Just I want to have a document for me, for my business. And then I can get it to you probably by this week.
I did,
Or
and so
anybody else.
before, we didn't have, you know how we were like, when we were doing the elections, we're like, we're not over here, state's elections. I added that on there, and I think it's good for us to have that on there as well on our bylaws. Because it wasn't on there before, we just, said, okay, let's vote and, randomly, and now we have that. I did add the parliamentarian, I think that'd be good to just have somebody ensuring all of that's getting done. And as I mentioned, the program manager staff liaison, I just highlighted the whole thing because literally everything said before, executive director and whatever else, and I switched that. And then we added the political part. I think there was a change you wanted there.
Yes, that, again, because this is a non-political body, and because we are dealing with the school districts, the college, there are other political offices that would run in concert with what we do. And so, plus our charter wants us to remain apolitical, right?
Yes.
So I think any political office that you're running for is disqualified.
It's not our charter, it's the IRS 501c3.
That's the IRS charter.
Right.
So
We're chartered by the IRS.
Right.
as a
Any
501c3.
UISD, LISD, LCC,
Any political office.
Okay.
State or otherwise.
Because we get monies from
So
all these
city,
entities.
city, county, and state?
City, county, state, and federal. I'm not running for Congress. Don't want to start that one, not running for Congress. That would be,
Hence where I think it needs a little bit more time to review.
yeah, and we do need a
And I don't know
little time.
if a board meeting is the place.
See?
I don't know if this meeting is the place to, I have a
Oh, no,
question,
it's
is also the
definitely-
fees, who set up the fees?
It's definitely
Is
the
that
place to
within the
discuss
bounds of
this.
what other?
But I think the board is exactly the place where this needs to be discussed.
Well,
And then it
yes, but
ultimately
maybe
needs to
just
be-
a meeting on this,
Yes, like a workshop.
just so
Well-
we can make sure we're all on the same page. Fees to,
You have to meet.
We don't have a bylaw committee, then that's would be another thing, we'd have to have a bylaw committee. Unless this is something that you would want it for it to only be for officers to sit down and go over the bylaws, but I think it should be the whole board as one.
At some point, the entire board needs to learn. It should be the officers. So I would suggest, and this is just my suggestion, and I'll open the floor for recommendations, but I think we ought to give ourselves till November 30th, end of the month,
Okay.
to submit any changes, any items in here that we may have questions on, so that we can have those brought back to us at the next board meeting. And that at the very first board meeting in January, because we do want to start these January, that we would make the
Yes.
adoption at that meeting. So the next board meeting would be somewhat of a workshop for the bylaws.
Well, since we haven't adopted the new bylaws, which would be these, and if we're still following the old bylaws, does that mean we would hold new president, vice president, and everything today as well? Or because technically there's, as I mentioned, there's a lot of stuff that is already on our bylaws that aren't currently being followed.
Well, we would have to
Can we
follow
just take a
these.
vote on that since given the, not happy?
I mean,
without being
that's
here?
my question
I'll-
to you all,
I'll do
like,
that.
that's.
Well, I mean, we're currently governed by the bylaws. These are amendments to those bylaws. These are not adopted, those are actual, so.
Yeah, those are
So
actual.
we're currently living under the old bylaws. So whatever rules are there now, apply.
Okay.
So that means we don't have officers at the present time.
We would have to.
Yes,
And when does that call for election? September?
it was, this is supposed to be on September.
So we're,
Behind, behind.
Yeah,
But I
that's,
think it has a caveat that under, I believe,
do you have a copy of all bylaws?
I can even to share.
Sure, I guess, yeah.
Like you want it to take home or you want it to see no?
Are those it?
I know we had talked also last time about having finders with bylaws all the time.
What is it? I'm really up right now, just focused on the things that can
Right on the top, it says the day that we,
I believe
adopt
that
11, one.
there was binders given to y'all, and they're, at this point, have not been found, so new binders would have to be created. And that's probably going to have to be starting January, once the new office assistants here able to assist me in making binders for officers. Huh? Yeah, well, she doesn't start till December 4th. Yeah, she'll be starting December 4th. But as I'm gaining here, I was mentioning to Monica and Lynn that I'll be losing Ida for a couple weeks because of the break.
There's no caveats.
No,
Because last time we had the same, remember that there were,
It's not
how's the time that we need to put something in there in case there's special
Yeah, and that's why I want to
circumstances.
add a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of stuff currently that isn't on there that I believe should be on there. That should, there's a lot of questions and a lot of, it should be on there.
we should be transparent about it. basically.
Exactly, and it should be, and if anything, how I said, it's on paper. Yeah,
So, it's kind of like, hey, you know what you're getting yourself into.
yeah, it's here,
Or what your
like, there's
commitment
no,
is.
yeah.
So it's a 2-year term for the board members and a 2-year.
It's a two-year
Two-year
And a
term.
12-month term for the board member. 2-year term for board of directors. Board members who took their oath April 20th to March 20th will receive a 12-month extension to their terms. Officers are,
Yes, I think we did, we used an extension at the time because.
Yeah.
we
See,
were
that was
still
with,
tweaking.
yes, that was with, La Cita, that one, that's something on there that's still on here that I didn't take off, that La Cita did. She gave whoever came in office, became a board member in 2020, an extra year because of COVID. Yeah. So like I said, pretty much everything's on here is stuff that's already on here. It's just adding more stuff in order to make it more available, having that backup, if anybody has any questions, we have it. And we're covering all grounds.
okay, so right now governed by these bylaws that are adopted January 11th of this year, we need to elect officers.
But you don't have it in the agenda, is our agenda posted?
So it's not an agenda, so we're gonna have to post it on the agenda.
So and then, sorry. If we are electing already officers, are we gonna give those officers an extension till away next year? Or is it going to end in December?
Well, let's see, what do you have here for your?
Because we had September to October, we were doing a fiscal year
Well,
instead of an annual year.
But if you do the adoption of the new bylaws,
Uh-huh.
you start January 1.
Okay.
So you'll be fine if we elect the officers next meeting.
Okay,
Sweet.
so,
In
okay,
December,
that's why we
we
have to do it in December,
Right
so
now
that
you're
you can
saying,
put
okay,
it, you
let's
can
adopt
post
the
it.
old bylaws, and now you're mixing up the new bylaws, so what is it gonna be?
So,
I
no,
personally think that we should just make a motion to extend your term through December and leave it at that. And then in January, we have your
Yes,
officers
yes,
come in.
yes.
Can I do that?
That's the question, can we do that if it's not in the agenda?
Right.
It's because
because-
it's not on our bylaws either, that's why, like, it's, I mean.
Well, I mean, it is
I
a
think
discussion
we
with possible
can,
action of
based
the
on the
bylaws.
subject matter and like
The bylaws
why
are-
it is that
It's
we're
like
proposing
suggesting
that. We propose that
There's
specific
my out.
extension because of
What happened
lack.
throughout the year?
Well,
Yeah.
it's on the agenda
The bylaw.
as a discussion of
The bylaws.
possible action of the bylaws.
Yeah.
And
So
so
I agree.
we could vote on an extension
Definitely, yeah, well, that's a
through December. So I have a motion on the floor to extend the terms of the officers through December.
Okay, so
Right.
that's still a motion, right?
Yes. Is that a second?
Well-
No, not national.
I need a second.
Listen,
Second, discussion?
I probably would like to extend it even further, because I don't think we're gonna have this completed by the timeline that we.
I have to ask a vote. And that will give us time, you know,
Well-
to put everything in order and organize and start.
But we still need to have an election. That's the whole thing. Even if you do the extension under the current bylaws, we would have to have an election of officers. So all we're doing is remedying it for a short time, which is December. So I would recommend, my caveat would be, if you would amend your motion to include that we elect you officers in December. So that regardless of whether we adopt or don't adopt the new bylaws, we have officers for the next year.
Okay.
Correct.
Makes
So
sense?
that, yes, that works.
Yes, because I wouldn't want to like, okay, let's say it doesn't get done till February, and then like, okay, well, you only, like, it just, I like that better.
Yes.
So then, Monica, will you accept the amendments?
yes.
So accepts the amendment, so I have a motion and a second to extend the term of the current officers through December, hold elections in December. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign, motion carries. Still with the topic of bylaws, I still believe that we ought to have all of our comments submitted by the end of November,
I agree.
and that we include in the meeting for November, for December, a discussion and adoption of the bylaws.
Okay. Can I put it for y'all in Google Docs, like that y'all can put your comments there? Or everybody does a highlight, something like that, I can know if, you know, because some of y'all might not agree on some stuff there, and like that I can know where everybody stands. So pick a color, do your highlighting on that color, and whatever the case may be. Just to remember that there is some stuff that are on there that is by city code ordinances. They're done a certain way.
Is there any way we could cite those and not like
Yes,
put it where
I
it
have.
says ordinance? I think also that
You
cleans
can
it
lock
out
those.
for.
Yeah, I can
lock
lock
those
those,
paragraphs.
yes.
Yeah,
Which is gonna
they
be,
come out.
the city manager part and the
And
absences and the
council.
council part. That all of that has city ordinances.
I know that, it's bringing it back to the ordinances.
Yeah.
There's no sugar.
Perfect. So then I'll entertain a motion to bring back the bylaws with comments for discussion and possible action, which could include adoption. Right? So we'll leave broad with possible action in December.
Can the date, can it be a little bit earlier? Because I
Well-
want to be able to send it to the attorney so they can also give me their recommendations.
We're on the 15th today.
Yes.
I guess we
So-
would have, depending on when
Yeah,
we have our
holiday
December
between.
meeting, we could have the buffer of the 2 weeks now, and then the buffer of 2 weeks of the first 2 weeks of December.
So when we
Right.
schedule our
December
December
meeting.
meeting, let's just make sure we give we give ourselves enough time in order to go through this.
Okay, so when we come up to that portion of the meeting, we'll make a recommendation to have it in the second week of December, not the first. That'll give you this some extra time.
Yeah, I can send it to
Plus we
you.
have a
December 12th,
post-out
step by- I will
Yes,
be
I'll
here.
do that too. Huh?
We're aiming December 12th?
13th.
13th?
Yeah.
December, I
That
will be
will-
here.
When will you,
Coordinating board.
you'll be here on the 19th?
Yeah, I'll be here.
I have something on the 19th, but I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah,
You
I'm
can
gonna
do
be
a-
here.
sorry. I can't do Thursdays, Fridays, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then you guys,
So the 20th would be the date. Because you can't be here on the week before.
I will not be in town on the 20th.
6th, 13th, 20th, or 5th, 12th, 19th.
The only thing is if you all hold it,
I can do
And I-
Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
we said yes or no to remote for a conference.
No, remote, no.
For this committee, right?
Yes.
Sorry, my head is thinking all the committees. Everybody does
Yes.
except this one. Okay.
Yes. Except for planning, they want to do that by virtual anymore. Nobody does.
No, nobody does.
No, they don't do it
Well,
anymore.
very few people do.
Yeah.
Well, did the state not do away with that also?
They
In terms of
usually
open
did.
meetings?
I serve in city committees that we do remote.
You may be violating state policy. I think the governor was saying no more,
That's
Open
right.
Meetings Act was,
The governor.
was
Yeah.
saying no more open, he wants everybody back in buildings and
Well,
Yes.
it's legislation. just
That's why
passed.
it is in a lot in our bylaws, because I think when Mr. Avellano came and he spoke to us about it, he said, I think we can't
Not
do
been
that.
removed.
I'm looking at the community development, and that was reviewed by the Kings.
What was
I
this?
wasn't doing it.
Maybe it's different for us, I don't know, but.
What's was
It was actually, no,
Yeah, I'll check
this
this
one was
out.
done that, and I,
Yeah.
That
there's
didn't
another
leave.
committee too, so that's right.
And I think honestly,
Let's
right
check
now,
Each committee, but
I mean,
each committee has that
I'm good.
autonomy, I believe, too.
I'm good on the 19th. Are you good on the 19th?
Yeah, I'm just leaving us up for 20th and
I have a Christmas party in 10, but I can show up fashionably late.
December 19th. I mean, we're not there yet, but December 19th.
The 19th? Anyway, okay, so I have a motion, I'll entertain a motion to bring back the bylaws with comments for possible action, discussion of possible action at our next meeting. So moved. So moved, do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second on the floor, all those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. So we'll leave the bylaws ready for next meeting. All right, the next item on our agenda, right now, this place, in this stack of papers, is one somebody got these. And we are, discussion possible action on the planning committee appointments.
Yes.
Do we need to make some appointments? Who wants to be on the planning committee?
I do want to,
But,
and seeing that we are short.
we want to table the item to the next meeting?
Yes, because, I know that 3 people were out, and now with those 3 out, I do have 2, applications waiting. And I know that one of those applicants would be good.
Okay, so in that case, I would entertain a motion to table the item of the planning committees, appointees, appointments, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, do I have a second? Second, Graciela, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, I'll entertain a motion to bring back the approval of the minutes. A motion to bring back approval of the minutes? Second? Second, Laura? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same sign, okay.
Okay, wait, give me the first, who made the first?
Great, you first.
Okay.
Laura Carolina.
You just put Laura. Why is my
Well, I'm putting Laura. I put Laura, don't worry.
It sounds very fancy. It's very good. I'm applying for something.
I'm gonna come in here singing Sweet Caroline next time. All right, so I have discussion for approval of the minutes.
This is a lot.
Now, we have the correct minutes before us.
Yes. In one, I
Okay.
was present, and the other one, I was excused.
So, present at the last meeting was myself, Myra, Juanita, Andy, Hyman, Virginia, Valentin, and it even says it here, now I gotta read it.
We keep
Okay.
it very professional.
And then I
I will
have,
go steam,
Yeah, it says it in all the
everybody's
books.
if everyone is good with what is written there, and then on the back, making sure that we have all the votes noted correctly. All items. Adjournment, everything looks good on my end. Okay, so I entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Have a motion?
Well,
And a
let's not
second?
hear.
Have a second with that? With that, all those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The minutes are approved. All right, staff reports, non-action items. This is where all the action is. I don't know why y'all put a non-action.
I know, right? This is the actual action. So, I don't know if you guys just want to go over our little calendar, that I'd like to give you all just a little update of kind of what's going on. Not really, there's a lot more than what. October, November calendar. So pretty much what took up a lot of time these 2 months for October, November was Arbor Day and the Fall Sweep Make a Difference event. I do want to talk about Fall Sweep and Make a Difference because if y'all have gone over your board member agreements that I've given all of y'all, it does state what events KOB should be hosting throughout the year in order to receive gold, silver, or just good standing. And we've done really good the past couple of years. We've stayed gold, and in order to receive gold, when I submit the application in January, the questions are, did you have a fall sweep event? Fall sweep for us is make a difference, okay? And I do want to remind you all that this is how this event shall be promoted. Because I think there's starting to be a confusion to where it is only make a difference, when in reality it is also KLB's fall sweep. And if it isn't being seen that way by KTB, we will lose our standing and our funding.
So explain that. They want to see an event, no matter what it is, Make a Difference Day, whatever, but they want to see.
Fall Sweep.
It has to, when it's being promoted, it has to be promoted as fall sweep.
And it has to be a KOB event.
Yes.
We can't, in other words, they don't want us riding on the coattails of another entity and saying, oh, we planned it when.
To
Oh,
say
it's
it's a
like
big event
Tammy's,
or,
yeah.
or
Tammy
the
And-
city's.
Make a Difference Day,
Because it
not
was a
KLB's Make
concern
a Difference Day.
mentioned by different entities, if this was KLB's event or if this was Tammy U's event. And it was something that was brought back to me by, as mentioned, different entities from the city, from KTB, because this past event, it just seemed very unclear. And I know unfortunately I wasn't around from in the very beginning when the planning started. And when they pulled out the flyer, they asked me, is this your
Okay.
event? Both city and KTB.
Who at the city?
Just certain individuals that I
Sure.
don't want to
Sure.
mention. So,
He's
down,
the program director.
yeah. And it's.
But he's right. He's right. I mean,
it-
obviously, if we're riding your coattails, attending you or somebody else's, we're not going to get the gold status.
Yeah,
So we either need to plan a separate event, right, other than Make a Difference. If that's 10 U's event, then we need to kind of make sure that we know what that is.
I don't think it's it's time to use event, and I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
I think it's a partnership event.
How do we, but how do we couch that so it doesn't look, because again, it's always been a partnership. We've always
Yeah.
worked well with them.
Well, the thing is,
Why didn't
before
somebody
in
do
the
it?
past, it's when we did our last, one of our last flyers, you were able to see KLB on there, and then there's this flyer from this past that has our old logo, and even for the city recognition, it was only, they were recognizing only Tommy U, and because the way it was being worded is, this is Tommy U's event. And it did got brought back to me, so Ruby, is this Tommy U's event or is it KLB event? And I was like, no, this is a partnership with Tommy U and KLB. And I think that in the planning of the upcoming big event and Make a Difference, that we just need to make sure that when we're promoting it, that we're promoting both, all partners on there. And if it being Makes Difference / Fall Sweep or Fall Sweep / Make a Difference, I think it should be on there so that there won't be that confusion next time.
So we should planning meetings that have been discussed.
She was still BGC.
Yeah, no, those were already started. With the flyer,
Didn't you attend the last meetings?
I did, but the flyer was
Make sure
already,
That conversation did happen.
The flyer was already crafted.
yeah,
In
the
fact, I
flyers
was-
were captured.
But in the past,
Volunteers
when we
were
let
already-
anyone out, because we've had, unfortunately, sometimes situation where we have partners last minute come in. We do have last minute modifications to flyers or adjust modifications to
None were
promotional
made this
stuff.
time. I mean, it was evident by the fact that council, they were recognizing Sammy U, not KLB.
Yeah, and I did,
But there's more details to that.
I'm sorry, but I did mention it to you specifically about the comments that were being made
And it was taken care of immediately.
yeah. So that's, I'm just
Should we
bringing
have
it up.
had a flyer with saying KLB Fall Sweep at the same time, same place, same date? As they just coincided that we were all there, should have been a second flyer, just KLB, to go along with.
I think just
The
one
Tommy
flyer is
U.
good, it's just everybody agreed.
Well, go back
because-
to a year prior, not this last year, but the year before, where there wasn't any confusion. What did that look like?
The
Where did
flyer
we-
looked
what
very
did we do di-
neutral.
yeah, what did we do different
I
this
think the
year?
flyer looked very neutral, like and this one, I think, I only came across it that one time that was shown to me. I didn't find it again. It was all maroon. Last time, I think there was like grays or whites, like where it was something more neutral, and I think that needs to be seen too. Another thing as well is, when I did start, I know there was already volunteers signed up for this event. And I do believe that we love volunteers, but we should have a limit on how many volunteers. Because of the fact
That's
of,
a tough one.
well, it more comes back to the fact of not, for some reason, we're never able to have sufficient amount of tools for everybody. And I want to be able, for example, now that Arbor Day is coming up, I'm gonna cut it off. I'm trying to, accommodate. We're adding more trees. We're trying to do whatever we can so we can have activities for everyone.
What other work can be done? I would rather add activities than push out volunteers.
Well, the
That's
thing
the
is
problem now,
that
to cut off the limit with volunteers. The thing is
Yeah.
that, like for the Feast of Sharon from HEB, they have a cap on how many volunteers they accept. And they, only because now high schools are requiring, or national honor societies and all of that, are requiring community hours to graduate or to get a cord. Basically, that's all they're getting, a cord, they're not getting anything else. And so there's everybody wants to volunteer.
Yeah.
But I think, I agree with you, there has to be a limit of how many we can.
But there also has
We
to
can
be
take-
enough, like Ruby said, enough things for them to do, because it's great to
Right.
have 1 million people. We had 1 million people, or like, there was a lot of students
Felt like a
just standing around or like dilly-dallying. I'm like, if you're here, work, and then when you went to go tell them like, hey, why don't you do this or that, then you get attitude too. It's just like, well, that's what we're here for.
I don't think we
you
should
know?
do paint anymore, like, cause it's all, coming from like, I was a previous TAMU student,
and I would tend to make a difference in big events. It's just easier to do like planting trees than paint, because honestly, like, I was there at this past Make a Difference event, and they just threw that paint everywhere. Like, it was instead of beautifying it, they were making a mess. Yeah, they're making a mess.
So
So
you were gonna say?
I just don't
Okay.
just do paint anymore.
There's a fine line, because you don't want to turn anybody away. You don't. But if KLB is providing the food, the supplies, they have to work within their budget. And you cannot entertain 10,000 volunteers and say, oh, we're gonna feed you lunch, and you don't have it to feed them.
But my point's always been, pick a day to cut off registration. But whatever comes in, because then you have enough time to make
And-
adjustments to your budget and to the workloads that you're gonna
And
have.
you can, Gene, but the biggest issue is that volunteers aren't doing anything.
No, again, going back to
It's
cutting
not,
off the
I
day.
mean, you can do a cutoff and you're gonna have people show up that day that wanna volunteer.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna turn them away.
But what do you do with those folks?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't wanna turn them away, but
The point being is, even if you set a limit, let's say we say 1,000, no more than 1,000. Come Saturday, there's 200 more people that showed up. What do I do?
no, you give them jobs because, and of course, the easiest job to give them is a trash bag and tell them to walk through the neighborhood and pick up trash.
Which is my understanding of what has happened.
Yeah, that's what I did towards the end. If all.
Because that's all you can do.
Yeah, if everything, like for this weekend, if everything's already been, all my crews have been distributed, whomever is left will pick up trash if there isn't. So that's the goal. And unfortunately, I know that most of the people that are coming to these tree planting events want to plant a tree, but there's only so much, because once we come back and look at Arbor Day's expense, it's gonna be like, woo! That one's gonna be expensive.
Well, when we did something, when we did the first.
We are at 180 right now.
At Trout.
We'll
And
probably
again,
get to 200.
this is something that I think we ought to consider. Like, you had a few extra things that we wanted to do, and if we had the volunteers, we were gonna do them. And you created some gardens. And so people wanted to plant, they didn't plant trees, we sent them with a whole bunch of little flowers and seeds, and we told them, over there. We cleared out some areas for them to plant. And that's what they worked on, because one, they didn't sign up, they came late, and they still wanted to do something.
idea, you know,
And
plant
so
seeds, I mean, seeds are inexpensive,
we-
we have a bunch of them and then put it to do something.
I mean,
And-
the other thing is we need to consider that, though I understand we're saying KOB, but there's partnerships, like Coca-Cola, and then we've had other partners that have, like Rotary, and there's still dilemmas that happen.
Oh, no, I'm not, I think the
And so
one
we need to
issue.
be clear, then if KOB is gonna be responsible for the projects, that the projects are aligned to what the expectations are.
Well, again, if we're submitting this as a suite, shouldn't we be? Right, we should be, yeah, we should be the lead sweep on it, and we should do it in conjunction with, right?
Yes.
Our project, but this is our partner, this is our value partner.
Yeah.
Or
I know
it's
we're
their
using,
partner.
just having you as an
Right,
example.
it was an example, yes.
Yeah, it's
Could
just
be-
an example.
Could be the council or parks or anything, yeah.
Yeah, I just do want,
Yes.
I wanted to bring it up because, our report,
too.
our report is coming up, which is what we're gonna be busy doing soon. Our report's coming up, and I just want to remind everybody as I bring next year's calendar for the next board meeting, that this is why we have certain events. We have it in order to get that status. Without these events, we can't.
Even the platform. So when does sweeps end?
So sweep is from September 30th through November 19th. And then waterways,
So Arbor Day could be our sweeps,
we can consider it as well as a sweep.
as a sweep.
Yes, but
But is there
remember,
a
they don't
cutoff?
want you doing just one.
I agree.
They want you to do multiples. The problem that Ruby has, and I had, and that's why I can speak to it, is you're only one staff person.
Yeah, and I try to fit in.
You work with what you've got. You've
Yeah.
got one staff person, so you're going, okay, if I'm gonna do one, and not to steal the name, but one big event, then your one big event, you want it to be all encompassing. So it's your fall sweep, it's a waterways cleanup, because they do waterway cleanup too.
It's working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, so, and that's what the way we've done it in the past. So just that, how I was saying, it was just this one time it had never happened to me before where,
Well, you weren't here, so I'm not gonna hit you with a cold bucket of water.
yeah, like where I was asked, I was like, I
But
don't know, I'm trying
My
to fix
question is,
it.
what did we do different? Why is there a perception, because we've always partnered with TAMU, and we've done that the last couple of years.
I
What did we do
honestly-
different?
Or who has the concern that we have
They
not
gave
had
that
any
perception.
Now that
experience
we have
before.
more volunteers as we used to have back in the day, so that's kind
Actually,
of
we
maybe.
had more in
the-
other events and.
But also you don't wanna tell them no, because then.
No, there was
we will have
always,
no volunteers.
Gracie, and there was always lots of volunteers. There was always been lots of volunteers. When my husband got sick, I had to cut back because I didn't have a choice. And I found in cutting back and doing, because also when we applied for Keep America Beautiful status, they expect you to do a Great American Cleanup. So in the spring, you have a Great American Cleanup, and in the fall, you have a Great American Cleanup. So you see, you're gonna incorporate a Great American Cleanup and a spring clean
The fall sweep?
and a fall sweep, and so you
And the
have to, and then the waterway cleanups,
and
and then your
recycles.
Texas trash off. So
And then
all of
Texas-
those things have to be incorporated. And so it's very difficult to always incorporate and get those names out there, in addition to giving thankful accolades to your sponsors and your partners and everybody else. But when you as a programmer saying, I did an event, they want to see you as the lead.
Exactly.
KLB
Again,
presents.
I don't know that we weren't the lead.
And I'm just saying, I'm not,
How did
because I
that
couldn't even
perception
tell you
that
what the
we
flyer
were,
looked
that
like.
we were, or that Tammy took over the,
Just
I don't
because it
know.
was maroon?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was a
I
You
don't
know,
know,
I thought you were.
I think another thing is we can come back to, this, the whole, usually the way it's done in the past is, anything that's asked from a council or the city goes through KLB, and I think, a mistake that we made, and I'll say we, because maybe I should have stopped it, was that this time around, Tammy, you went straight to the councilwoman and the donation was given to Tammy you when it's all.
Correction. I do want to make a correction on that statement. I have documentation to confirm that at least as a board member, I was asked to go in as a board member, and I have confirmation that as a board member, it was requested for KOB. What the city council representative opted to do is very different. And the other thing that I want to make sure that
So
it's on the
she-
record,
did
if I
she-
may in the record, is also that I was not communicated about the agenda being posted. It was another TAMU representative being informed of, and then informed me that the agenda showed that it was a TAMU recognition. And I said, this is not a TAMU recognition, this is a partnership recognition. And when the staff member at the university told me, I, as a board member of KOB, took care of it. And then there was a correction done. We even called the city manager's office to make sure that those corrections were being done.
But is it on
However,
the
we were
agenda?
told by city management that it needed, because it was just it was not necessarily an item for,
Correction.
Amended.
Or
Amended.
well, an amendment, excuse me, an amendment. But because it wasn't an agenda item for the actual council meeting.
It's the recognitions agenda. Right, it wasn't
But that
council
it was
meeting.
corrected, and KOB was recognized, Coca-Cola was recognized, the glass company was recognized, Tamu was recognized, so all the partnership for that event were recognized, and there's documentation of that. I just want to make sure that that's clear. in the
So that
Yeah.
so the council will,
In social media, only Tammy was recognized.
Yeah.
From,
I think I
from
saw
the
From
city.
From the city.
Yeah, we portrayed it like that, so when we.
It portrayed it like that.
That's okay.
And I,
That's
as,
the way, yeah.
board member for KLB do have enough to
That's what I'm saying.
document that.
It was my
So I can't
mistake.
control what the city does.
Well, and again,
I should have,
the
I should
councilwoman,
have
why
been the
did
one to
she?
gone to, I should have been the one to go
And I
to
know that
council.
I was reached out
But
to
was
all
that
the
the
council
time?
But even then,
representatives,
it's
mayors.
still council.
Ruby, I'm sorry to interrupt. Was that the time that we were told, oh, this is gonna be a timely event? That,
No, it was
So,
never
no,
so that.
no.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, the councilwoman did not disperse funds from her account. It was personal.
I think they were personal.
I don't
So
know.
even in the
Actually,
council, that would have.
I didn't
the
To
council would have-
clarify on that, and I want to request it on the minutes, we were not, we meaning, well, Tammy, you was not aware that the council representative was going to give a check to the university, rather when we were notified that the check was coming to the university, we said, "But this is KOB." And when we went back to ask, we were told, no, it's from private funds to this.
So what do you mean
And we
council?
said, we're gonna make sure that all these funds are allocated for this function, which I also have a question on the budget, because I don't think it reflects the expenses for the project. I think only 2 quotes are reflected in the project.
Yeah, it's
There's
what
other
I
quotes.
had on
Okay.
my folder.
So we belabored this point, but we need to make sure, I would think, to go going forward.
My concern is good stuff. My concern
Well, yeah, no,
is
no,
good
I
stuff.
get it.
I agree, but
Yeah.
hence
So-
we need to make sure that all these names that are reflected.
But for
on
our
this
application this year, we need to rectify anything that's outstanding, right? So if there are social media posts missing, we ought to post that we were
Yes.
recognized.
If
And that was
I had an email when I reached out about our event, which
Yeah.
was coincided with Make a Difference, but ours is Making the Difference.
Yeah,
When I reached out, because we needed to work with a KBS affiliate, that's when I reached out, just before you came in, I got an email saying, we are working with Tammy Yu with the Make a Difference Day. This will be, and I copied you and I copied
see, and I
Jean
think
about
maybe that's where it
us
came from.
working with KLB as our affiliate to our, because KLB was gonna receive a donation, a monetary donation, depending on how many associates volunteered, it was gonna be $100 per associate to KLB, because we work with affiliated with KLB. And so I reached out to KLB, so if it helps, I have an email where it says, we're having our event with Tammy Yu for the fall event, for the fall, Make a Difference.
Yeah, I haven't
whatever.
posted it on social media because of that, I guess, confusion.
Sorry, who controls the social media for the city? Is that
Yeah.
something you can do with them and have them correct it?
Up here, it's because the
Because
way,
I have documentation of it,
Because
but
I
I
even-
can't
But it's
control
not-
that the city.
no,
The PIO
and
has-
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
Well,
fine
we can twist
because,
her arm.
I don't know the elevator.
yeah, no, it's fine.
We can stop it.
What my plan was, we'll leave it like that, we have our thing, because we didn't even get, like, I don't have a photo of just, KLB.
That's why I was asking you, because they're asking me for the same thing. Because I told them we were recognized by the city, I'm like, well, do you have a photo? I said, no, because when I saw it on social media, they said Tammy Yu was recognized for the Make a Difference.
Yeah,
And
and then I have it for.
And that's why I asked you if you knew who took the picture, so I could reach out.
It's a
Yeah,
city.
because I
It's a
even,
city.
Yeah.
even on the TV, when it comes out, when they're doing the city council, it says Tammy Yu. So there was no way for me to try to justify it just by the thing. I mean, but that's fine, no big deal. We're
Oh,
hoping
no,
to
it is
get.
a big deal. Because if this is something it's required for our affiliation and recognition.
We're gonna get
I, as a board member,
recognition.
think it is a big deal. It needs to be.
So it's credit for having the event.
Yeah, and that's what I said, like, what counts is we have
She can fix
the,
it by doing another event, but she's already bringing awareness that we cannot allow for that to keep happening, right? Maybe
Yeah,
just once,
that's pretty
I mean,
much-
okay,
that's
we
just
can
what it
fix
is.
once,
But
but
it
not
wasn't
twice.
KLB's decision, it wasn't Coca-Cola's, it wasn't any partnership.
Yeah.
So how can we fix something that it wasn't our responsibility?
well, like I said, I have the recognition, I have the paper.
Is you become very coordinated. Your board, the people who are speaking to the media, the people who are being interviewed, that all has to be coordinated.
Who was interviewed by the media?
I don't, I wasn't there.
I wasn't interviewed.
For maybe a different state.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just throwing it out there, I'm not picking on any event. What I'm saying is, you're saying, well, we can't control them. Yes, you can control them by having PIO at the meeting, by having PIO informed. PIO needs to know. So from now on, with any kind of partnership, you have the PIO there, so the PIO understands. There's always,
But don't
even if you
you-
do partnerships, there's always a lead entity.
Yeah, I send a PIO form, for every event, it's because that's
Her
the other
world
thing
was on fire,
too.
was on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
Not that I'm gonna cover for her, but she had $150,000 worth of equipment coming in and being installed, council meetings were being held at the library, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm
she
saying,
was-
it's
No,
okay.
I mean,
missed us.
and I'm not picking on any person per se. I'm saying
We can pick on her.
it's a coordinated, no, I mean, again, you know, I don't have a dog in this race, so to speak. I'm giving you my personal experience from having done these events many times and facing very much the same type of situation on many occasions. I mean, and it also created, in some occasions, a wedge where those partnerships no longer exist because they didn't like being told that they couldn't speak to the media. And I was telling them, you can speak to the media, it's what you say to the media.
Right. Okay, well, that said, we need to correct what was said in the media, what was presented in the media, as well as what's out there, so that we can make sure that we can take some credit for this, for our suite.
Yeah, right.
So let's fix that if we can. It's non-action item, so we can vote on it, but that would be my recommendation to you all. It's just.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it on
Just fix
my,
this.
yeah, on my end, and, you know, I'm trying to get us, other recommendations that hopefully will be in the next council meeting, to kind of just make up, because, I mean, mistakes happen, and it was probably a mistake, a miscommunication along the way, because as I mentioned, when I did come back in, I am still playing catch up. There was a lot of catch up. There was a lot of forms that weren't submitted on time to, for example, PIO. Like that was something that didn't get submitted until I got here. There was a lot of stuff that when it comes to planning an event hadn't happened that I had to do myself and play that catch up. Yeah. So luckily now, let's talk about already, everything is good, everything's set up, we are doing
How many
awesome.
volunteers have signed up?
We are at 180 volunteers right now. It might be more by, Friday.
That's a
Which-
low number, that works, we'll put it to work.
No, I think that's a very high number because for the amount of trees that we were doing,
How many trees?
we are at 103. Now we are at 103. Because originally we were gonna do 87 trees, and for 87 trees, I needed about 120 volunteers. So we added more trees in order to cover those volunteers. Besides the trees, we are doing a mural in partnership with Tommy U. Tommy Volunteers Love Committee will be on there doing a mural, and we'll be doing some painting that the councilmen had requested if we could assist with, which we'll be doing as well. So we are at, to be at 10
Tree wells, are we cleaning up the tree wells?
we are doing tree wells as well. So, I did instruct my crew leaders, once they were done, that they would come down and do tree wells. I did, ask Coca-Cola if they could put up a recycling booth. I haven't asked Coca-Cola yet how we stand on that. But I did ask Coca-Cola if we could put a recycling booth because it is still, Recycles Day, November 15th, today.
Yes.
Today's Recycles Day, and I would want to have that there. We did end up getting our Texas Our Future grant with KTV, which we were awarded $3,000 for this event. We were also awarded, we got a $3,000 donation from Mr. Trujillo through Uber Freights. And Coca-Cola once again will be donating drinks to us. I did do a banner for all of our sponsors. Every volunteer will be fed as well that day. from 11 to 12, we'll be doing carne, and that is thanks to the councilmen and parks. They are providing some of the stuff. I was gonna say most, but we'll say most of the stuff. Some stuff is also coming from Kelby. And that's what we're done with there, and everything's good. Jean has been helping me with doing the media part, because things in the office have been a little chaotic. Thank you, Jean. I do want to thank you. Yes, I do want to thank you for that, because it does help me. Radio and TV, and the TV. I already lost track.
I did it last time, so.
I already lost track.
I just want to see a new station.
Yeah.
That's why I did it.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And next, we have a winter beautification. I know we had talking about doing something that was something for downtown, but I want to save that for an event in May with Keep America Beautiful. So it's a much large scale event. I think that event needs a bit more planning for that. So we'll be doing a winter beautification at the Boys and Girls Club on Santa Maria. The good thing about this property is that it's city property, so we are able to go in there and do stuff, but I am set back a little bit right now. We've been set back for 2 weeks
What's up,
because
Marina?
The Northwest Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe it was a bicycle path, but yeah.
there
I was
are,
going to pick up that cycling.
I already had like 2-3 meetings for this, and like so many phone calls, because there is some brick planters that are in place there, and if you guys ever been there, they are, I don't know.
Ugly. Just say it.
I hope it's in there, but we had sent them.
We had something called Dead Man Dead.
We had asked if somebody could remove them. They said yes, and then they said something else, and then they were like, "Oh no, wait, hold back. Let's come back down here." And then we went, and then we're back over here, and then we had to come back this way. So I'm back this way downtown, or no, we went through city manager, through public works, through parks, through environmental, through solid waste, and I forgot who else. And now I'm at engineering.
Utilities.
They're the only ones that didn't go through, but no, I'm with with engineering, waiting for their approval to remove these planters that the Boys and Girls Club wanted to remove in order to plant trees. If they do get removed, and we would be looking about 22 trees and plants. It's not a lot. It's a small
Is there
scale
a reason
event.
why we need to get all the departments to remove the trees? And we can't just do it like the clays?
Because we had said yes. Public Works had said yes, and then Public Works took it to Environmental and Solid Waste, and Environmental and Solid Waste said, yeah, I'll pick up the trash and then wait. I think that's a structure. And then like, okay, well, let's get with parks. Okay, parks, I don't know, let's ask downtown. So then we asked city manager, and the city manager said, no, I think we should be good. But you know what, let's double check with the Johns, if they were okay with that. So we double checked with the Johns, and then the John said, yeah, that would be fine with us if that happens. Okay, so then went back to the park, said, okay, well then let me get with engineering because of the whole structure, and then now it's engineering. This is what I have to deal with every day. So I'm back here.
There's a bit open tomorrow unless we don't know, so that's all.
Okay, so once engineering says yes, finally Mr. Navarro, after 2-3 weeks, can go and do irrigation for that.
Got it.
Yes, that's where we stand.
So it's a Christmas break beautification.
Well, I haven't
Maybe.
called it, I haven't found its name for it yet. I called it winter beautification. I don't have, because it's not something it's an event outside of events that are requested from us. So I don't have a name for it yet. But I called it winter. You guys can call it, we can come up with a
You're
name
not
for it.
really major in winter time, December-ish, right?
No, we don't. We
No,
usually,
because you need to be getting ready to.
Yeah.
80 degrees, but it's still,
yeah. around December is we start planning, we do our reports, we do everything that needs to be done. So what is December through February, it is meant for all the,
Planning, prepping, and reporting.
yes,
And in addition to which, you have conference that comes up.
yes, and,
Just Keep America Beautiful.
Keep America, I will be attending Keep America Beautiful Conference in February.
Isn't there a workshop in the Bombay?
Yes, I am going to that as well. Yes.
Are they going with you?
I don't know. I don't even remember.
It's on my calendar,
Okay.
on the 12th, right?
Yeah.
Because I have a tag on. Somebody wants to go to a Bombay, I said, okay, I need to.
Yeah, so I'll be there that day because I did miss my training for the summer, so I need to make up for it. I need to put that down because that's another thing that I get asked in my report. Did you attend training? Yes, I did.
Okay, so then the next item is a date and time for the next meeting,
December 19th.
December 19th.
Do you guys want to have a nice dinner like last year, gift thing before, I know it's not over there.
Whatever you want.
Wait, did you
I
see
say
what
yes.
Texas future grant?
Yeah, that's the grant.
Mhm.
That's the
Oh,
grant. Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
The 19th?
I accept any kind of gift.
Especially if it's hard for me.
Plants, trees, that.
Oh, come on. Okay, I'll go there.
Donation.
I can bring you a bushel of sweet potatoes.
We'll take those two.
Yeah, there's sweet potatoes. Okay, so then the 19th,
Yes.
everybody make that one, okay? Any items for the next agenda meeting that we already have not discussed? We have bylaws already and anything else?
Updates on Arbor Day,
Oh, yeah, just the updates on the other day.
and by updates, I mean like number of actual show volunteers, hours, impact reports, just so we can document it for minutes purposes for future.
How often are you gonna want a children's report? Like, is it a annual, quarter?
When we're having events every month, aren't we?
Well, during this time we do, and so I could bring it every month.
That's, I
Right,
know
I
other
mean,
boards
sheets
do.
maybe it's a
I
little
just, I
bit.
think you just do it post event. So if you have an event that month, then bring a report. If we don't have an event, then, January, we don't have a lot scheduled, we're,
Then February, we get the next.
because it's
Until
all.
March, yeah.
March. Yeah, so that was, post event. Because that's expenses and donations, that's really what we want to see. What do we spend, what do we pick in?
And then we have another recognition for KOD coming up for the city council.
I'm working on it. I'm not sure if it's two, double.
What did I go to the other night? What did you roll me into?
We're gonna do Tamil.
What am I, I'm gonna be painting.
Actually, you're being recognized as a partner of KOB. This is KOB recognition.
There you go. So,
Yeah, so,
I have to dress up yet.
yeah.
And that one,
Nice and pretty.
let me see what I can do, so our PR from Tammy, we can make sure to post it on our website that KOB was recognized for partnership with a significant sweep project.
Lawsuit file.
The Fall Sweep project. So if you can get me the terminology of how we need to make sure we notice, then we will make sure that it gets posted.
That doesn't matter. It can be vice versa, as long as fall sweeps on.
Just let me know how we needs to be named, so that way we can make sure we're compliant with the expectations of. And we'll make sure from our PR department, it's what we have to control that gets done. And we'll have the board president.
And you're not gonna be there?
On behalf
So
of
you're
the
gonna wear-
town.
you're gonna wear it to me.
So that's
Time to be adjourned.
Yeah, so time for the meeting is 5:30. Ready to adjourn?
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I wanna make
Motion
sure.
in a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.